COP22 is going to demonstrate that all renewable energy technologies working together are going to be the key solution for mitigating climate change over the decades to come. We clearly have to have a decline in our carbon dioxide emissions beginning over the next couple of decades. And in order for this to happen, we have to really deploy renewable energy technologies at a very large scale so that ultimately all of our end-use energy needs are met by renewable energy technologies.
Well, I think the biggest hope is that the nations come together and start seeing a little bit of progress towards putting together their climate goals into action. Last year it was a great success that countries agreed on what to do, and now they're agreeing on how to do it, and one of the first phases towards actually implementing them at a country level. And we're seeing a lot of collaboration, a lot of understanding over who can do what and who needs help with which and how to get there together.
I think after Paris we are now in the process towards the greenhouse gas neutral energy supply, 100% renewable energy world, and I hope that this COP is the first step which brings us closer to this 100% renewable energy future, so that the governments and also the business represented here understand which steps to take.
Yeah, so what I personally hope from COP22 is that we move from statements and agreements on papers to actual deliverance of what we have decided, because it's time for action now.
These COPs are really a good place where people talk to each other, because people are hungry to talk with each other. That's why the decision makers on the problem side, they are saying something and it's implemented, and the people who are on the solution side need to talk together in community level and national level and globally to produce the solution.
I have to look 1 year back. Paris was really a game changer. I think Paris was the first renewables COP, because the ultimate agreement was only possible because of the fact that every member state of the United Nations had submitted its climate plan, its so-called INDCs. And if you look into the different documents, you see that renewable energy plays a hugely important role for the climate plans of different member states, be it India or be it the small island states or whatever. Some of them have even claimed 100% renewable energy goal. So now the next COPs, namely this one where we are in Marrakesh, are about the implementation and are about the measurement and the verification of this agreement. How do we measure progress? How do we implement this? Are we on track with this so-called IEDCs? So I sincerely hope that the agreements on finance, on next steps for the implementation of monitoring the INDCs will be bold enough to really see ultimately Paris as the game changer for not just for the UN diplomacy but also for the climate.
I really hope that renewables now become an integral part of the solutions to implement the Paris Agenda. Meaning Mexico, I think it was in 2010, renewables for the first time were ever mentioned as a possible solution for the climate talks. And now we see that they're fully integrated, including a high-level event yesterday where the COP presidency acknowledged that 100% renewables is where we need to go towards if we are going to meet the 1.5 target.
You know, the COP in Marrakesh is an action COP. There's no big political agreement like Paris, but it's about initiatives and action and governments going forward with what they're going to be doing. So it is the initiatives that are going to be announced here that are important, more important than the actual negotiations. And we know there's several initiatives being discussed, especially on renewable energy, the African Renewable Energy Initiative, the Lighthouse Initiative for Islands. The least developed countries are doing their own initiative, the Global Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency Initiative, and we know that the Climate Vulnerable Forum, which is a group of more than 43 countries who are putting a very ambitious declaration on new actions they're going to be doing, which will come out at the end of this COP, and we're all looking forward to that.
Well, seeing the discussions here in Marrakesh, it's already really exciting that people are taking up the good and encouraging pathway that we started last year in Paris. We have a clear mandate to phase out fossil fuels by the mid-century with the Paris Agreement, and we actually have a lot of local governments and communities already doing this work. What I want to see specifically out of this COP is that this is even scaled up and sped up. Because at the end of the day, we're not doing enough yet, and 2016 is still, again, the hottest year in history, and we need to do much more. So very specifically, as the next step after Marrakesh, we need countries to develop roadmaps for 100% renewable energy in the next decade to be realized.
Okay, so we're looking to make partnerships, to meet with our partner organisations. We're hosting 2 events this week. One was with the REN Alliance, so we were talking about renewables working together and how we can meet the challenges of the Paris Agreement at different levels of deployment. So hopefully we are building a better understanding around that renewable technologies are ready to meet those challenges.
There's a lot of momentum around renewable energy, and it's an exciting time to be in renewables. This has been the COP, many people are calling this the COP of action, and we really see renewables, including solar and wind and all of the renewable sources, as a key way to implement that action. Costs have come down so much that it's no longer, renewables are no longer sort of the right thing to do, they're now the smart thing to do. So we're really seeing that and feeling that here in Marrakesh these 2 weeks, and look to continue to carry that momentum forward.
Well, ISES is here representing all of our members, our partners and supporters in Marrakesh, and we're bringing the message that 100% renewable energy is possible. The technology exists and we really need to move forward with this. COP22 is the action COP, and that's what we're really seeing here in Marrakesh. So if you'd like to learn more about our work and what we do and how you can get involved, please have a look at our website www.ises.org and have a look at our membership opportunities. We'd love to include you into the global renewable energy community.